All right, what is going on, guys? Happy Monday. We've got 6 NBA games that we're going to talk about today. We're going to go through each one, give you my favorite plays, and as always, my best bets. But before we get into that, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Join the Discord. Link is down below. We went 3-0 on NBA plays yesterday, so very sweat-free sweep. We had Tatum over 8.5 rebounds. He had 8 by halftime, so that was sweat-free. We had, we had Halliburton under his 4.5 rebounds. He ended up at 4, so a little bit of sweat, but pretty sweat-free at halftime. Then we had TJ McConnell over 3.5 assists. He had that by halftime, so very, very sweat-free. I think McConnell finished with 7 assists. Tatum finished with like 12 or 13 rebounds, so very, very sweat-free, but let's delve into this slate. So first game on the card is going to be the Heat and the Pistons. We've got a 4.5 line. Let me scroll that up so you guys can see it. But we got a 4.5 line here. Heat played a pretty slow pace. Pistons kind of middle of the road. In terms of defense, very, very similar. Heat actually defensively ranked worse than the Pistons. So Pistons plus 4.5 is a pretty decent spot here, but I would lean more towards taking the Pistons team total to go over. So I like that spot. Heat give up a ton of rebounds, so that is an avenue to take. They also give up a decent amount of assists to point guard position. I think Cade Cunningham could be another one to look at in terms of his rebounds and assists. He has a great matchup here. Heat do not give up a lot of points to the point guard position. They are 6th in terms of points allowed, but they give up the 5th most rebounds and the 7th most assists to the point guard position. So that's an avenue. I also think there is some options for Jalen Duran. The only issue is Tobias Harris is out, and so Stewart will be in the lineup, and he will suck up a lot of Duran's rebounds. I also don't trust him from a foul perspective, so not an avenue I would take, but statistically, it could be a good play there. On the Pistons side, in terms of their defense, they give up a lot of points to the center position. So could be a day for Bam Adebayo. That said, they don't give up a lot of rebounds. His rebound line is 10.5. Feels a little high. I didn't pull the trigger on taking that under. It's just oddly placed. I would expect that to be somewhere around 9.5. So kind of a weird line there. They also give up the 11th fewest assists. So Bam Adebayo, we've been having some success betting his rebounds plus assist. Gonna skip that today. Like I said, I would say Pistons plus 4.5 or just take their team total to go over. Next game on the card is going to be the 76ers and the Hornets. Two teams that really don't play at a quick pace. Sixers are 25th in pace. Hornets are 22nd. Defensively, very similar. Both very average defensively. 76ers side of the ball in terms of defense. Give up a lot of points to the power forward position. Also give up a lot of rebounds to the power forward position. So that's an avenue that you could look to explore. They do give up a decent amount of assists to the shooting guard position. LaMelo Ball is supposed to be back tonight, so I do like his over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. I assume on that line he will be on some type of minutes restriction, but that line's just simply too low in my opinion. Defensively for the Hornets, give up a lot of points to the power forward position. Give up a lot of rebounds to the point guard position. So could be something. Tyrese Maxey rebound line is at 3.5. I do think there's value there. It's just heavily skewed, but will most likely be something I'll throw in a parlay dance partner. In terms of assists, they do give up a decent amount of assists to the small forward and the power forward position, and they give up a lot of threes to the power forward position. So could be an angle there. In terms of the line, Philly minus 2.5. I just don't trust this team without Embiid. We played Embiid when he got hurt, and a fly flew across his face. He's going to need to miss the next 5 games. So without Embiid, I just don't trust this team, to be honest. So I would take the Hornets at home plus 2.5. That would be my play there. Next game, Cavs and the Nets. Cavs on the road, 10.5. It's not too bad. That said, Nets play at such a slow pace. They are 27th in pace. Defensively, you would think with the Cavs being the record they have, they would be great, but they're really not. Very middle of the road. Nets are 18th defensively, so worse than Cleveland. I would say take Cleveland minus 10.5. In terms of prop bets to look at, maybe look at, let's see, Cleveland defensively give up a lot of rebounds to the power forward position. They give up a lot of points to the point guard position. They give up a lot of rebounds to the shooting guard position. So could be an avenue to take maybe a Ben Simmons rebound line or something like that. Not a lot of props I trust on the net side of the ball. Claxton rebound line's fairly low. Cleveland is 13th in terms of rebounds allowed, so kind of middle of the road. Nets defensively give up a lot of points to the point guard position, so could be a day to look at Garland over 19.5 points. I do like that. I went through and kind of looked at where Garland scores a lot of his points. He gets a lot of his points in the paint. He is actually very good in the paint. He's ranked 42nd out of 440 players, whatever it is, decent amount. So he does very well in terms of efficiency in the paint. He's also very good in above the break threes, which the Nets are dead last in terms of above the break three defensively. So could be an avenue to take Darius Garland over his 3 points made today. But yeah, overall, give me Cleveland minus 10.5. This blowout potential really just makes me want to fade this game entirely. You could look at the Evan Mobley over assist. My only fear was Nets are actually pretty decent in terms of giving up rebounds. They're actually the 7th best in terms of fewest rebounds allowed. So it does make me a little nervous to pull the trigger on Cleveland given that and the blowout potential. All right, next game, Bulls and the Raptors. Very tight line here. Raptors at home getting 1.5. This should be a very fast-paced game. We've got the Raptors who play at the 6th fastest pace. Bulls play at the 3rd fastest pace. So this one should be interesting. Bulls defensively give up a ton of points. Pretty much pick any starter other than small forward, and they give up a ton of points to them. They also give up a ton of rebounds, ton of assists. So this could be a day where RJ Barrett has a day. If we look, they are 30th, 28th, and 27th in terms of points, rebounds, and assists. So maybe RJ Barrett over PRAs could be a really good spot there. Bulls also give up a lot of three-pointers to the shooting guard position. They are dead last in three-pointers allowed to the shooting guard position, dead last in assists allowed to the point guard position. So just a lot of rebounds, assists, and points for teams that play the Bulls. Raptor side of the ball, defensively, pretty good. They do give up a lot of rebounds against the center position. So Nikola Vucevic over 9.5 rebounds. This line is wrong. It should be 10.5. Hopefully by the time you guys see this, it's still 9.5. At some point today, it has to get bumped to 10.5. They also give up a lot of assists to the center position. They're actually dead last. So maybe Vucevic over rebounds plus assist could be a good avenue to take today. But ultimately, give me the Bulls minus 1.5. Just without Scotty Barnes and all the other injuries. They've got Brown. They've got Quickly out. Just too many question marks, in my opinion. Bulls side of the ball, Lonzo Ball is expected to play. Vucevic is technically a game-time decision with an illness, but he is likely to play. Zach LaVine is a game-time decision, so not sure if he will play or not, but I feel pretty good. If he doesn't play, Ayo Dosunmu will be in there. Should have a pretty good game, so I like that. Don't really want to touch the total rebounds. I think there is some value there, but after last game when he didn't start and he had those back spasms, I just don't want to put my money on him and have him come off the bench again and kind of hose us. All right, next game, we got another tight line. I like it. We got Denver and the Kings. So Denver on the road, playing the Kings. Pretty fast pace for Denver. They play at the 5th fastest pace. Kings are 11th in pace. Nuggets just haven't been good defensively. They're 19th overall defensively. Kings are 14th. Nuggets defensively do give up a lot of rebounds to the center position. So we are on DeMontis rebounds today. There is Most of the books have him at 13.5. DK has him at 12.5. So already pounced and got that one in. That's just too low. They also do give up a lot of rebounds to the power forward position. Where they do not give up a lot of rebounds is to the small forward position. They are number 1 in fewest rebounds allowed. So a little bit of a scary fade, but we're going to take Keegan Murray under 6.5 rebounds today. Nuggets give up a lot of assists. They give up 27th in assists to the point guard position, 29th to the shooting guard position. So guys like De'Aaron Fox or Malik Monk could have a really nice day in terms of the assist. They don't give up a lot of rebounds to the guard position, so would want to fade that. It's primarily power forward and center where they give up a ton of rebounds. On the Kings side, defensively, they do a pretty good job of limiting points to the center position. They're below average in terms of rebounds, so we're gonna go the Joker over 11.5 rebounds. Scares me every time I take his rebound, but the line's just simply too low. Kings do give up a lot of assists to the point guard position, so it could be one where you look at Jamal Murray, or could go Russell Westbrook and go over the assist prop. I don't mind that. But ultimately, give me the Kings minus 1.5 at home. A little bit of a ballsy play, I guess, but I like them at home. All right. Let's see. Last game here. Jazz and the Clippers. This should be a slower paced game. Obviously, we see that reflected in the 224.5. Jazz, the last time they played the Suns, nobody missed. It was insane, ridiculously high scoring game. So I would lean over 224.5, given their recent lack of defense. And the Jazz are 21st in terms of defense. Clippers are 13th, so a little better on the defensive side of the ball. Jazz give up a lot of points. They're 28th in points allowed to the center position, so could be something where you look at Zubac over his points. 25th to the small forward position, 29th to the shooting guard position, which is kind of weird for the Clippers because really Harden is listed as a shooting guard. He's the point guard. So could look at Norman Powell to go over his points. I think that could be a good avenue. Jazz also give up a lot of assists, 29th in assists allowed to the point guard position. So I do like Harden over 8.5 assists today. On the Clipper side of the ball, very good defensively. They do give up a decent amount of points to the center position. So you could look at a Will Kessler over his points. I don't really like anybody to go over rebounds. If anybody, it would be Lauri Markkanen, but I don't really trust him to get 7 boards. So I'm going to fade that. Pick on this one would be Clippers -8. Jazz are just not a good team. All right, let's get into our plays and get you guys on your way. All right, first play on the card. And before we get into that, there will be an NFL video that'll come out separately later today since we've got 2 games tonight. But we're going to take LaMelo Ball over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. This line's just too low. He's over in 9 of his last 10. He's over in 2 of 3 versus Philly. Philly do a good job of limiting rebounds and assists to LaMelo's position. They're 7th and 12th in terms of fewest allowed, but we're getting a huge discount on this line. Like I said, there's probably a minutes restriction in place, but I still like him to go over this line. Give me Zubac over 10.5 rebounds. Now, he's only over this line in 6 of his last 10. He is over in his last 2, but he did miss in his previous 3. That said, 8 of the last 9 centers have hit their rebound prop line versus Utah, so I do like this spot. Domantas Sabonis over 12.5 rebounds. This line's just too low. I think it should be 13.5. The last 8 centers have hit their line versus Denver. So Sabonis at home, 100% hit rate over the last 8. So give me that. And like I said, it's 13.5 on a lot of other books. All right, Vucevic over 9.5 rebounds. He's over this in 5 of his last 10, but he's over this in 7 of his last 10 away games. Toronto 23rd in rebounds allowed to the center position, and 8 of the last 11 centers have gone over this line. Zubac on the season is averaging 9.8 rebounds, so really just need him to have an average game. So I like this spot. And then we're taking Gershon Yabusele over 4.5 rebounds. This one may be at 5.5 by the time some people see this, but it is juice, but I love it. He is over this line in 9 of his last 10 games without Embiid. The only game he didn't hit this, he got hurt. So this was the same game, fly flew in front of Embiid's face. and now he's out. So that's the only game he didn't hit this line. He still had 3 before halftime. So I love this line here. Jokic over 11.5 rebounds. Kings are 17th in rebounds allowed. Joker's averaging 13.3 a game this season. So we're just getting good value here to take that. I can't fade it. Keegan Murray under 6.5 rebounds. Probably the scariest one of the day in my opinion. But statistically, Denver very, very good at limiting rebounds to the small forward position. So he averages 7.7 a game. We just need him to go 1 under his average. So I like this spot. And then last play on the card is going to be James Harden over 8.5 assists. Utah's 29th in assists allowed to the point guard position. He is basically a point guard. He is the primary ball handler. I love the spot for him to go over this line, and we're getting great value at minus 110. We should see this go up. I would imagine this is probably minus 125, minus 130 at tip-off. So we're getting value early, some good CLV here. So those are my favorite plays for today. Guys, join the Discord. Like I said, we're going to be posting some NFL parlays, going to post some NBA parlays, also a couple college basketball games today that I like. So hopefully I see you guys in there. If not, I'll catch you in the next video.